Question 1. Think of a group to which you belong or have belonged. Trace its development through the stage of group development as shown in Exhibit 10.2. How closely did its development parallel the group development model? How might the group development model be used to improve this group's effectiveness? There are 5 stages of group development: forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. At the first stage, forming stage, group members first introduce to each other. The group's purpose, structure, and leadership is uncertainty. In storming stage, group members start working. There may happen conflict between group members. Then, in norming stage, group members work with each other and develop close relationship to accomplish the task. Group members in performing stage work towards the same objective. In adjourning stage, group disband when the group projects end. In forming stage, a person comes up with an idea to innovate a software. He meets up with people with same idea and form a group. Next, in storming stage, when the group form, the group start to develop the job details and standard. In norming stage, each group members has their own specific job responsibility. There is a group leader to manage the group. When entering performing stage, all of the group members cooperate with each other and develop a communication network. In the last stage, adjourning, tasks are diversified to each group member. The designation of group members changes due to their working performance and skills.
Question 2. Contrast self-managed and cross-functional teams. Cross-functional teams means groups that bring together the knowledge and skills of individuals from various work areas or groups whose members have been trained to do each other's jobs. For self-managed teams are essentially independent and that, in addition to their own tasks, take on traditional managerial responsibilities such as hiring, planning, and scheduling, and evaluating performance. One difference between a self-managed and cross-functional team is the way the team members are selected. A full self-managed team selects all members. The members then evaluate each other's performance. Members of cross-functional teams are selected according to the goal at hand. These team members are at about the same hierarchical level but from different departments of the organizations such as marketing, sales, or engineering. Next, leadership. Leadership roles also vary between self-managed and cross-functional teams. Cross-functional teams often require hands-on management techniques, while self-managed teams need little to no management. Self-managed teams operate without managers and are responsible for determining work assignments, organizing breaks, and collectively controlling the overall pace of work. A leader in a cross-functional team is more of coach. She is in charge of keeping a clear vision and focus within the team and making sure the team's efforts are in line with those of the organization. Last but not least, conflict. Level of conflict also vary between self-managed and cross-functional teams. Cross-functional teams enable stakeholders to have an input in the development process, increasing the conflict level within a team. All the members of a cross-functional team come from different work backgrounds and inherently have different perspectives when issues arise. A self-managed team will also run into issues, much like any other team types. However, the members are more likely to share the same perspective, minimizing conflict when an issue arises. Question B. Virtual and face-to-face teams. Okay, for face-to-face teams, means teams from the same department or functional areas involved in efforts to improve work activities or to solve specific problems. Members share ideas or offer suggestions on how work process and methods can be improved. Virtual teams that use technology to link physical disparate members in order to achieve a common goals. The face-to-face team is primary and common, while the virtual team has evolved with technology development. In selecting a face-to-face team member, it is adequate to evaluate his functional skills, but in selecting a virtual team member, it is required to evaluate core competency such as computer literacy, dealing with diversified people and working in different time zones along with functional skills. Generally, a traditional team has a hierarchical organization structure, whereas a virtual team has a flatter organization structure. So this is also a significant difference between virtual and traditional teams. Furthermore, the leadership control is minimal in a virtual teams, whereas face-to-face team leaders have more command and control. Besides, there can be more communication, collaboration, and cultural issues in virtual teams than in face-to-face team due to limited face-to-face interaction among members, time differences, and global operations.
Good afternoon, Doctor. I'm Shio, and now I'll present for this question. How do you explain the popularity of work teams in countries such as the United States and Canada, whose national cultures place a high value on individualism? So first, what is the meaning of work teams? Work teams are groups whose members work strongly on a particular common goal using their positive synergy, mutual responsibility, and complementary skills. So in this question, in countries like Canada and the United States, culture encourages individualism. This allows people to develop their skills in several specialties, many of them being very specific. However, when certain work or task requires multiple skills, individual knowledge is combined, giving birth to work teams. So work teams are comprised of individuals from various specialties in order for organizations to compete more effectively and efficiently. Work teams do not discredit individuals and instead rely on both individual and group abilities to achieve the common goals.
Question 4. All work teams are work groups, but not all work groups are work teams. I agree with this statement. Work groups are defined as two or more interacting and interdependent individuals who come together to achieve specific goals. Work groups can be both formal and informal. They can be command groups, task groups, cross-functional groups, and even self-managed groups. Work teams are defined as groups whose members work intensely on a specific common goal using their positive synergy, individual and mutual accountability, and complementary skills. The use of teams creates the potential for an organization to generate greater output with no increase in inputs. While some may think that work groups and work teams are the same, they do in fact differ. A work group is a group that interacts primarily to share information and to make decisions that will help each group member perform within his or her area of responsibility. Work groups have not need to engage in collective work that requires joint effort. There is no positive synergy. A work team, on the other hand, generates positive synergy through a coordinated effort.
So the second question is, would you prefer to work alone or as part of a team? So why? As we know that this will always be a typical job interview questions because potential employers ask this question because some positions require staff members to work in a teams on a daily basis while others require employees to work on their own. So let's see if we work in a group. So the first one is have multiple brains working toward the same product. I found that having multiple brains working toward the same final product was very beneficial. I know that being cooperative, open-minded, and focused are important aspects of being a successful team member. So the second one is I will be feeling more motivated. I enjoy having other people around to bounce ideas off. I find that when people can say something that jogs your mind and prompts you to come up with a completely new creative idea. Plus, I feel that everyone has something different to contribute to an effort because we all come from such diverse backgrounds. So we see another side is if we work independently. In my opinion, there are too many factors that can be missed when people congregate together in groups of 3 or more. So I will prefer we can focus much better on the task at hand. I will always be someone who needs peace and quiet in order to concentrate and perform well. If it's too noisy or there's too much going on around me, I can't formulate my thoughts. So it all depends on you and depends on your employer.
6. To have a successful team, first find a great leader. What do you think of this statement? Do you agree? Why or why not? So my answer is I agree with this statement. So in order to form a functional and solid team, you have to have the right leader. Having a strong and efficient leader will lead to having a strong and effective team because the leader can pick individuals that will work well with their leadership and direction. So as a leader, you always try to find individuals with the same goals and sometimes even the same common interests to help make the work environment more synchronized. If you start with a team and try to find a leader afterwards, you may upset a team member that wanted to move up or bring someone into a group that doesn't mesh well with personalities. So that's why I agree with this statement. 6.
Strong team players are the backbone of any team. When others fail, these are the people who venture on with strong resolve and persistence, committed to getting the job done. Most people can list the qualities of bad team members without struggling too hard. But do you know what traits great team players share? First, a positive attitude. Your attitude has a big impact on your team, whether it is positive or negative. If even one member of a team has a negative outlook, it can quickly influence the whole team, making everyone more seen. Do your best to stay positive when working with your team. Tackle challenges as they come, and don't let setbacks get you down. Positive thinking pays off, so be sure to do everything you can to keep your mood up. Second, communication skill. Team cannot be successful if their members don't communicate effectively. While it can be tempting to focus only on your work, make sure to keep your colleagues updated with your status on different projects so that everyone is on the same page. When you are communicating with your team, it is also important to be open and honest. This promotes trust and improves the efficiency of the entire team. Third, respect. Everyone should be treated equally in a team, and it is important to be respectful towards all your colleagues. Don't let ego get in the way of effective teamwork. You can be respectful toward your colleagues by arriving on time to meetings, listening to what they have to say, and doing your fair share of work. Fourth, dedication. Are you committed to your team, and do you really care about your results? It is important that your team members don't think that you are there just for the paychecks. By putting forward ideas about where the team or business can improve, using your initiative, and investing time in getting to know your colleagues, you will show that you are dedicated to them. Helpfulness. Team can only improve when their members are helping each other. Even though you may be busy, you should always try your best to help a colleagues if they come to you with a problem. Share your skill and knowledge and be generous with your time when possible. Then, if you come across a situation in which you require assistance, you can rely on your team members to back you up. The last one, adaptability. Change happens and it is not always something that you can control. People deal with change in different ways, but great team players are always able to adapt. If you are open to change and stay positive when it is happen, you will be able to influence your team members who may not be as flexible as you. In short, if you can develop even just some of these 6 traits, you will be able to make a big impact on your team. Effective teamwork benefits everyone in a business, and if you keep striving to improve, you will see a difference in your team's result.
Question 8. Contrast the pros and cons of diverse team. So for the pros, I think that firstly, it leads to increased innovation. When people from different backgrounds and experiences are able to come together successfully, then the unique viewpoints can be blended together to create a better overall product. And secondly, people can be assigned specific tasks based on their specific strengths. Instead of forcing people to focus on their weaknesses, employers with diverse teams can assign more people to projects that are reflective of their strengths. When each team member is able to do something that they are very good at doing, then the quality of the end result can be increased, and that makes the employer more competitive within their market. While for the cons, so some diverse teams may be unproductive. Why? Sometimes cultures can be so different that two people are unable to work together at all. Someone growing up in the southern United States in an ultra-conservative household may struggle to adapt to an ultra-liberal household from the Pacific Northwest and vice versa, leading to more moral and less productivity because of the emphasis on diverse teams. And next, there can be too many leaders and are not enough workers. So on diverse teams, there must be one central hub where information flows in for it to be effective. Everyone believes that their perspective is best because it is based on their personal experiences. If there aren't protocols in place to limit people from doing their own things, then common practices cannot be followed, and this can create a tremendous amount of disarray.